Hello and welcome to another episode of Jake's Platonic Fireside Chat. It's me, Jake. Thanks very much guys last week for all of your tender and loving support and sending Gaz death threats and all sorts of exciting things like that meant that the show could carry on to see another day. It was great. Gaz did a fantastic job playing the villain last week, didn't he? You guys were all very cross at him, sending him tweets and comments and death threats, and maybe you were the real villains after all. But that got me thinking, who is the best villain in a video game? Yes guys, this week we're looking at the best video game villains. Now by best, I mean our favourites, the office picks. Don't take our word as gospel. And if you want to play along at home, it's so simple guys. Just leave a comment down below and let me know who your favourite villain is and I'll read it. But for the meantime, why don't you listen to our picks? Come on, let's go on a journey. Knights of the Old Republic is a role-playing video game set in the Star Wars universe, developed by BioWare and released back in 2003. I've said it before and I'll say it again, Mass Effect but before Mass Effect. Darth Treya aka Kreia was a female Sith Lord during the Dark Wars and a Dark Lord of the Sith, considered by many as one of the best characters in Star Wars history by those that actually played the game. She's definitely earned a place on this list. Kreia realises that morality is a force of its own. She doesn't just see the light side and the dark side, she saw both of them combined to form a bigger picture. To ignore one just for the sake of it is stupid, and she's one of the only characters in Star Wars that seems to get that and embraces both sides as she sees fit, rather than subscribing to goodies or baddies. Definitely an interesting character. Here's what Mike's got to say.
Kreia is the best.
Thanks, Mike. Resident Evil is a survival horror game released by Capcom for the PlayStation in 1996. It's the story of Chris and Jill, members of an elite task force known as STARS, as they investigate a spooky mansion infested with zombies and other such fiends. The leader of STARS is none other than the infinitely cunning Albert Wesker. He's a puppet master who's at least a bit responsible for loads of the horrible goings-on in the Resident Evil franchise. He even gets a mention in the latest one, Resident Evil 7, if you know where to look. He's basically looking to replace the entire human race with a superhuman just like himself through forced evolution and mass extinction. Here's Liam to tell you why he's the best.
He is a cartoonishly over-the-top villain, primary antagonist for most of the Resident Evil series, and he just wants to rule the world. What's wrong with that? He wants to rule the world, wipe out humanity, and he wants to be the god. You know, listen, what's so bad about that, eh? And, I mean, he does get blown up in a volcano. That's a pretty good way to go, I guess.
Thanks, Liam. Me next. Metal Gear Solid is an action-adventure stealth game produced by Konami and released all the way back in 1998. Directed, produced and co-written by, of course, Hideo Kojima. It's probably my favourite game ever, and half of it is down to the crazy characters you meet throughout the game. Revolver Ocelot, aka Adamska, aka Adam, aka Adam, aka Shalashashka, aka Ocelot. What did you expect, mate? It's Metal Gear. Is the interrogation specialist for Foxhound, at least when you first encounter him in Metal Gear Solid 1. This guy is responsible for such amazing lines as
"You're pretty good"
and
"This bitch is wearing perfume."
He's one of the most important characters in the whole saga. Ocelot is so morally grey that I'm not even sure he knows what's going on at some points. He's worked for everyone, the KGB, the CIA, the NSA. He helps and hinders Snake throughout the years, and you go from rooting for him at some points to wanting to swat him away like a fly, depending on when and where you encounter him. The first time you meet Revolver Ocelot, he's got a slick back greasy little ponytail, a handlebar moustache. He's tied a fat man to a pillar in the middle of a room, and you have to shoot him running around it so it doesn't blow it up. It's crazy. And then you see him again in like all the other games. He's got like someone else's arm, he hypnotizes himself, he has a little cute little beret on and he doesn't even have a revolver and he can't do the recoil right. It's crazy, mate. It's crazy. The thing about him is that he's like got so much charisma, he's so flamboyant and enigmatic. It's just like, what more do you want from a man with a six-shooter? Nothing. Revolver Ocelot is the one. The Secret of Monkey Island is a 1990 point-and-click adventure game from Lucasfilm Games. It's a game about piracy in the Caribbean. The player takes on the role of Guybrush Threepwood. You're pirating around until eventually you cross paths with this undead horror, LeChuck. LeChuck is arguably the most fearsome pirate ever to set sail in the Seven Seas. Skilled swordsman, ruthless killer, and master of the occult. The salty sea dog turned himself into an undead freak in order to harness greater power, and it worked. His hobbies include murder, torturing Elaine Marley, and turning a whole ship's crew into undead slaves. Before he was a monster though, he had a loyal crew of buccaneers who turned with him, and he's the arch nemesis of Guybrush throughout pretty much all of the Monkey Island games. Gaz is going to give you all the info you need to know about why LeChuck is the best villain going.
Didn't we cancel this show?
Thanks, Gaz. Hey, that does sound like Pirates of the Caribbean. Maybe you should Google that. So there's one person that's been sitting here the whole time and hasn't let me know what they think. And that's you. Why don't you let me know your favourite video game villain? We realise that all of our picks are from games from the 90s or very early 2000s, so why don't you let me know maybe a more modern villain that's even better than any of those we've just mentioned? GLaDOS maybe, Andrew Ryan. There's plenty to pick and I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks for sticking around for this one, guys, and thank you very much for all the kind words and lovely messages you sent me last week. I really appreciate it. Remember to let me know what you thought of this video in the comments below. Like it if you enjoyed it. There's more content on the screen if you want to check it out. If it's not a fireside chat, what's the point? There's also a link to our Patreon if you want to support the channel. And until then, guys, stay warm, stay safe, stay out of the snow if you're in the UK, and I'll see you next time.